and sprawls across the land. The open mic hour is close at hand.
That's a poem.
Why not?
That's a poem.
Hi. Oh yeah. Yeah, except for what's his face read it in Thriller.
Oh.
Midnight Hours close his hand.
Michael Jackson?
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price says it in the Michael
On the
Jackson
TV
song.
show. Oh.
When he did the video for it, at the end of the song.
Oh, Thriller. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, the midnight hour is close at hand. The poetry hour is close at hand. Why am I... Ladies, I feel out. Shh. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello, it's great to see you all. I know there's this heavying snowfall. Hi. Welcome for the poetry hour. We're all just all mellow and laid back, and I have no idea if I should button this jacket or what.
Who cares?
Close it up.
Should I be closed more?
Yeah, close.
3 buttons.
You just.
There you go. I'm buttoned up now.
We don't want to see all that, Janet.
Because, you don't want to reveal that turtleneck underneath my side.
The turtlenecks are cool. What are you talking about?
I like my turtlenecks. Right, exactly. So, hi. We have, I hear people screaming, including our phenomenal, I'm really looking forward to this feature from Virginia Hunt. Please give it up for Virginia Hunt! I can't applaud properly because I'm holding the precious, glorious Crown Royal bag. I don't know how long I've had this, but what I'd like you all to do is put your life savings into this, because I'm really looking forward to whatever. Let me see what I can cut off for this. I'll just stuff that in there. Give freely, give early and give often, as they say here in Chicago. I'm gonna hopefully this won't hit a piano. Yeah, and just start passing it around. Did I hit it? I missed something.
You hit a candle.
I hit a candle, well, at least it wasn't lit. Awesome. So please give us something for our really great feature tonight, which I'm really looking forward to. I was very disappointed because at the beginning she comes walking in with the guitar and I said, wait a minute, I know that this woman played the guitar for like a year and she did other stuff with instruments and for singing and stuff. She said, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to do something for my mom for her birthday, because it's her birthday today.
Yeah, but then, mother's.
Yeah, it's her mom's birthday, but she's like, but then I just fall through and I just brought the guitar along and I wasn't planning on playing it, which makes me very sad.
I might play something though.
If you want to do something instrumentally or something, or whatever you'd like to do, it's your feature, you can do whatever you darn know well, please. But I thought I would actually start off the evening by reading stuff from other people. So, actually, I'm looking at all these books here. This is the thing, I've got a lot of stuff going on with publications for Scottish Publications, including chapbooks, or chapbooks turned into books, which I thought this was cool, with When the World Was Black and White by Ted Jenkins, which was cool, but I also like this cover especially. Part of a novel, I think, Pedal Under Pavement, which was from Mike Brennan. And actually, CEE, who has actually been a regular contributor to CC&D magazine, he had said to me, oh my God, Pope Eggs. And I'm like, oh, Benedict, I get it. I didn't know his joke. I thought that was a riot. He's like, Pope Eggs is quitting this month. I've got to get this out. Pope Eggs. And so we did the Holy See of CEE, and they had to get that out before he actually retired. I think tomorrow is his last day, and he actually went on this little parade today saying, goodbye, my peoples, but not in English. But it's been a crazy week. I believe Virginia Hunt actually featured the news of the passing of, whom was it, my love?
Yes.
On Monday, which is very, very sad from a heart attack, I believe. But a very loving a warm person.
He was like prominent in the Chicago poetry scene.
Pardon me?
He was a predominant figure in the poetry scene in Chicago.
I haven't seen him in a while, but and I was really sorry to hear that he had passed. And so, instead of being all sad and somber, I think we should celebrate and love each other the way he was very, very, very respectful of everyone else. So I definitely would say so for David Hernandez, definitely. But I'm not going to talk about him anymore. But he's awesome, and you all poets, you're all so awesome, and thank you for coming. And so are the poets that happen to be in the current issues of CC&D and Down in the Dirt magazine. So I thought I was going to read a couple pieces, and before I call somebody up, I'm going to read one piece from the February issue. I know, it's almost the end of the month, But that's because for the rest of the year, CC&D and Down in the Dirt magazine will only be coming out bi-monthly, so you won't be able to hear from these guys for another month from me. But I wanted to share one poem from the February issue V 241 of CC&D because Esteban Colon happens to be in this issue. And I asked him if he would come here and read this, and he's like, no, I can't make it, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the video if you read this, so I'm very embarrassed. So this is Esteban Colon's poem, and it's called Firearm Philosophy. Shotguns don't get high. Shotguns don't talk outside bars till sunrise, stumbling away, still unsure of life paths. Shotguns don't quiet their minds with pills, desperate for 5 solid hours of sleep. Shotguns look for the kill, the smell of sulfur. Shotguns don't ask, don't fight for peace. They assume there is none and dare you to prove them right. Thank you so much. Sorry, now I was going to see that. Me going, Esteban, you're awesome. I also have the After the Apocalypse date book. Yes, there's also a poetry collection book and a prose collection book. The poetry collection book has all the stuff from this, but this happens to be spiral bound, and you can have a poem for every week of the year. And so I thought I would read one from this week. And this is a poem by Bob Johnston. And he did a series of poems of the 7 deadly colors. And this one, possibly because it's short enough to be in this thing, was gray. So this is the 7 deadly colors, gray. The world outside my window is grimy with fog dripping from tired trees. The window has never been washed, and all of the dirt is on the inside. There is work to be done, poems to write, books to read. I sit at my supercomputer and play solitaire. 2 flies are trapped in a web woven by a weary spider. I kneel before the telly and worship the faded colors. I know that there's red pews. I mean, he sent me a bunch of them and I accepted some of them. And actually, if you don't want to know the issues, because they were accepted from Scars Publications, if you go to http://scars.tv and click on ratings, this is the awesome thing about being an accepted writer, you will have a framed page that'll appear on the left, be a list of names. Start searching for Bob Johnston and click on it and it will show, oh, puce, green, gray, red, or whatever ones I happen to accept. Yeah. And you will see those and you'll also say, oh, that happens to be in this issue if you want to see the issue.
I gotta put something on there, don't I?
You usually said my sidekick should be submitting stuff to me. Although I think the last thing I've gotten from you was Twin Peaks. Or something.
Shit,
I've got a view, but it's been a while. So, and I haven't shared anything from this one, and I was sharing this cover with Tressa because I thought it was awesome because it's a goat. What? And I'm just going to sit in the water trough. I'm just doing it out, and I just thought that was really funny in Pennsylvania somewhere. So, and I wanted to read this one poem because I like Kenneth DiMaggio, who has been in CC&D and Down in the Dirt, and he came to visit me once, and we went all around Chicago, and I was photographing globes or something. We had a great time, and I really like the guy. So, and all of this stuff is too long, but this one is nice and short. American Gothic, number 3. Even if the railroad no longer runs through this rested but still pornographically neon American town, you can tell how you were born on the wrong side of the tracks, just from the way your shadow can never cross over without making the Rorschach of a body bag. Thank you. And hopefully, I could get the next person that will come up here to read a few more from here. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. John Yatko. John, get it up here. And people aren't used to this microphone get used to, Ben, but this is totally, you can just move this to be whatever height. Just letting everybody know. So, oh, here's your book.
Need a book.
Need a book, and thank you.
All right, yeah, I'm going to read three poems out of this book here, out of issue 115. Which one is this? The C, C, and D, or Down in the Dirt?
Down in the dirt.
Down in the dirt.
And he's got the goat.
Down in the dirt.
Down in the dirt.
Okay. Too many bookmarks. This first one is called She Was Lost by Travis Green. She was the color of dry fields. She was a pile of dead leaves, a stumbling tree, a burning wood, a sunken star, a cold brick wall, a droopy ceiling fan, a cloud, a shower curtain, a bottle of pills, a floor cracking board, a blade-scrawled window, a silent sky sinking, a tumult of waves dying, a broken peanut butter jar, a sewage tank, a smashed car, ran down building, a mountain falling, nails scattered on a counter, a moon with discolored dreams. And when I read this one, I thought, this makes me think of a migraine headache. It's called The Loss by Maria A. Arana. Stained by the ambush of my own mind, left for dead, trouble comes. My body accepts it, resigns to pain.
Oh.
I get some pretty wicked migraines. You wouldn't want them.
And you just want to like give up right there?
Trust me, you wouldn't want them. And then this last one, Indifferent Perceptions by Nick Viglietta. Their eyes have been closed. Bleak minds dying with hunger. Tumultuous existence is a dream on the other side of the eye. Sensation of illuminated daylight and domed nights will never permeate their sight. Recollections project in mosaics. The self-conscious sleep, the eyes convulse, but never enough to initiate lucid relief, disintegration of thought. Their eyes will not open. They have become prosaic, flowers that have died, closed and died.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I have to yell. I feel like I'm some sort of sports announcer. Thank you. Yeah, it has been a crazy week, because apparently, and I'm only bringing this up because tomorrow's the last day for, I want to say Pope bags for the Pope. And apparently the government's going to collapse because they have less money coming Friday. Oh, really? So they're going to have to learn to deal with a fractionally smaller amount of money than they're used to when they're used to getting more and more every year? What? So, I mean, really, what is, all that means is, well, we're used to getting 4% and we're only going to get 2% more this year, but we're still getting more. Nice rationale. Don't take my money from me. That's what we pay for. I'm going to stop babbling right now, and I'm going to take my book about religion away with me as well. Please, I'm going to stop talking. Please give it up for Mr. Patrick Hurley. Patrick, drink your beer. Give it up for the love.
Ennui. When is it time for tears? As hope shatters like fragile glass on a maple floor. Happiness held in brief moments of compassionate embrace. Are tears permitted then, if they are for joy? Or must the levee be built higher, holding back the inevitable flood? Some minor release, maybe, gentle and slow as a delicate February snow covering the filth below. with the illusion of white, clean newness. But this too melts, revealing the honest ground, worn by time, begging for rebirth, then finding it in the spring crocus. Origami. A gentle kiss placed so delicately on your breast. Time lags, then races as your hand parts hair. Ah, fresh air filling lungs as diaphragm distends stomach. We breathe each other in and in again. Origami art, folding limbs into beauty.
That seems so short. I thought it was going to be more. Like, what? There's no more.
As she waits with baby breath. Some more. All right, then. I'm tired of doing this all by myself. Please give it up for my lovely and charming, beautiful, erratic sidekick. Give it up for Mr. Bob Raskow. Monster, get up here. Come on.
This is for David Hernandez. It's from the Outlaw Bible of American Poetry. It's by Hetty Jones, and it's called Words. Words are keys, or stanchions, or stones. I give you my word, you pocket it, and keep the change. Here is a word on the tip of my tongue. Love. I hold it close, though it dreams of leaving. Yes. A lot of my loose poetry got soaked in my white bag of goodies, but somehow the notebooks that are in there survived, so I'll just read a couple from this one. This is called Milk and Honey Land. He was 19 years old. He was walking down the road. He was hypnotically perusing the modern youth Bible, the one they all swear by. He walked straight into a tree. His mind was still on Lilo or J-Lo as his body glided back and then down. He never felt the pain, never even imagined that he was falling into a wishing well of his dreams. Somebody somehow called an ambulance. He was carried away. Into the emergency room he flew, stable, running on all cables, only requiring a few stitches. The surgeon set him free. The nurse handed him his release papers. It was then he stopped, just inside the hospital door. Hey, where's my red eye? Thank you. And finally, this is called Blue Man Group. You don't need to go to Briar Street to find Blue Man Group. All you need to do is visit your local police station. True, that uniform is a few shades deeper than the crystal blue of the beloved clowns. All the same, it's the name of the game. Don't think they don't know your name. Search and detect with an aim to connect, or did I say collect? Don't think they don't know your name. They really get around, east, west, up and down. They know lots of tricks, how to brandish sticks, where to look for intersections requiring special attention. Don't think they don't know your name. Unlike their Lakeview namesakes, keep a supply of ice cream and cupcakes in case some kid loses his way. Here, incredibly, I envision a farm, out near Kankakee or Menard, that must be the gathering place for BMG stars. Do I sense a whiff of bacon getting fried in so much lard? Don't think. Thanks.
Oh. You know, that totally makes me think, don't think they don't know who you are. Because I never heard of like a poem, and it helped to have this poem and write the story about how I was out with a friend, and we actually closed the Blue Note, and she was driving me home, and we're going on Milwaukee Avenue, and the cops pulled us over because they're said that we pulled a red light, but I'm like, I don't think we did. But then it got an angle, so who the hell knows? Because it was 4:30 in the morning, and you were drinking all night. And she had a cracked windshield, and she had a Michigan driver's license, and she lived in Illinois for over a year, and she's, probably drunk. And so they're like, well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to bring you to the station. And so we go, and I'm like, I don't care, I'm not in trouble, but sure, I'll come along. And so I'm just sitting there hanging out, and they're asking her details of getting info from her, and I'm like, there are a lot of break-ins at where I am on Belden and Logan Square, and really, and I'm like, yeah, they're all they steal is my insurance card, which happens regularly, and so I have to pay $50 and get a new window, so she ends up bringing me home, and that cop comes by. Is this the neighborhood? And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, yes it is. And he said, well, here's my card. And I'm like, oh my God. Thank you, I'll keep it in mind. What am I going to do with that? But yeah, like the cops won't hunt you down or not. But it was just funny. That just made me think of all that crazy stuff. So I'm sorry I just told you stupid stuff about closing the Blue Note and getting pulled over by cops, sorry. And now that we've talked about cops, it's time for talking about a solution to that. Please give it up for Joffrey. Joffrey, come on up here, my love. I don't know what that aside was. Is that yours, mine? Yeah, we'll find it. We'll figure it out. No.
Thanks.
No problem.
Except for my coat.
I'll do three, two of them mine. This first one has a title, A Little Light Verse. Making light of Tokyo with air raids from the east, perhaps 100,000 died. But a lighter touch was the atomic bomb that dropped in Tokyo Bay, a dud. Save any applause you have to the end. This one has a little history. I got it on the second Friday in December at the Fine Arts Building, which has 10 stories of Christmas. I worked my way down from the 10th floor to about the 6th floor, where I found a Barbara Burgess, 330 South Michigan Avenue, apartment 1604, 60604. She was reading her poetry with explanations because she had to, and selling them for $1 a piece. And I walked in when she was explaining that she had read a big book about the Holocaust, which gave her the name Katzman, who rounded up Jews for Auschwitz. The title is Einstein's Daughter, and the thing about it is, no one knows what happened to Einstein's daughter. So she made up the poem a fiction. And if she can do a fiction, I can too. And so that'll be, I'll follow with mine. Einstein's Daughter, Roman 1. In the dim sitting rooms of Europe, dining on ashes and blame, and stuffed with dry recriminations, they agree to give their daughter up to. In Galicia now, the girl, Iserl, has bright private visions, clustered in the house and trees, constellations like anvils, revolving end to end, and then the thrill of their meridians, wheeling out and pointing back, and once a brazen cryptogram, the drowned man. 3. Katzman considered using her, but had her killed instead. She made him uneasy, pulling glyphs from where she kept them in a place beneath her tongue. The disconcerting surface of her radius, her ulna. And that's her point. And mine, I give the title, Einstein's Daughter, Arabic 2, and I throw in here the name of Ray Watkins. Ray Watkins used to sit at that piano playing classicals and cursing at his own mistakes. And we used to have our disagreements right at that end of the bar. And so I begin where she began. It was Roman 1. In the dim sitting rooms of Europe, dining on ashes and blame and stuffed with dry recriminations, they agreed to give their daughter up to. In Galicia now, the girl, Lizelle, grew up looking like any other Roman Catholic. Her memory dimmed to extinction of any dysfunctional dining room. One of her brothers, Lech, dies resisting Germans led by Rothschild Nazis who sang in a Benedictine choir. Another brother, Pyotr, died fighting the Russians led by a half-Jew, allegedly Rothschild, who dropped out of an Eastern Catholic seminary. 3. Working as a waitress, she served Katzman on a break from rounding up Jews, 17 to 21, to work to death on watery potato soup, and was Feldmädchen to some Galicians on the Eastern Front with Franco's Blue Division, while Einstein was on 3 committees to build the atomic bomb. 4. She took Mass from the man who became the Polish Pope. She took the virginity of Ray Watkins, walking out of Auschwitz, headed back to Paris. 5. Under stress post-war poverty, she put up one of her sons for adoption and died as Valenza broke his first strike. 6. Equally unaware of origin as was his mother, her grandson stopped briefly in the Burgess Room of the Fine Arts Building to a week before a winter solstice, end of the world, to see Barbara sell some imagination about Einstein's daughter.
Thank you.
I'm going to share this once and I'm not going to say it again, but you say you can write fiction of things about things that happened with the Holocaust. I happened to go to, the most recent time I went to DC for the Holocaust Memorial. I didn't notice this, and John was with me and he said, Janet, there's a list of names of resistance fighters, names of people who had died. And I said, really? I have to go look for my name. I mean, I'm Dutch. Well, you have to. But the whole continent, my grandparents were the ones that came over, and so I saw 4 Kuypers. No idea who these people are. They are related to me somehow very distantly, and I have no clue. And we were traveling, and we were driving back, and it was right around Halloween, 2010, maybe, 2010 or 2011. Well, but we were driving back and we were like, hey, we're going to be going to Buddha's open mic on Halloween. And I was just in the car and I'm like, I'm going to write a piece of fiction. And it will be about these 4 women's names and how they had died while trying to save people. And I went there and I read it once and I said, I'm not going to read it again. I mean, it's a fictional piece because I have no idea how these people died. But I felt like I had to do something. And it was supposed to be this horror gory thing. And I'm like, well, I got this thing about how people were slaughtered and killed or raped repeatedly or whatever the story was. But and I'm sure that what they went through was very, very different and very, very horrific, but I didn't know the story, so I came up with that. And I'm going to shut up now because I'm really pleased that Jerry came by. No, I'm going to have some of the happy stories. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jerry. Come on up here, my love. See, he remembers this stuff. His hands are cold.
My hands are cold.
It's winter time. Everybody's hands.
And my voice is loud, and I don't have anything to read, but I would love to recite something that I have memorized without the microphone. I met my person in the mirror in a 5th Street bar last night. He used to sit across from me, but now is on my right. He spoke, but over my voice I just couldn't catch his name. He mimicked all my questions, and of course I did the same. I bought a drink for each of us, and the barmaids botched the change. When I tried to pay one what I owed, she told me I was strange. My person in the mirror just laughed, reflecting mirthfulness. We bickered and we shouted some, and then we raised our fists. Twin bouncers crept behind us and gave us each a smack. One tossed me out the front door. Thank you very much for the opportunity to perform for you.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Go ahead, teach yourself.
This is a poem that is not one of my own, but it happened to be a Hallmark card, which was written by my grandmother. She got $25 for it. Back in the day when $25 was 2 Charlie Rice. The ability for my grandfather not to pay the bill. 2 ice cream cones and a movie at the cinema. A Valentine could be a kiss, a ribbon, or a ring, a candied heart stuck with a dart, or any sort of thing. The present doesn't mean a bit, it's just the outward sign. It's the love that stands behind it that's the real Valentine. And now the hostess will usher me off the stage.
Oh, no. Come on.
My hands are working. Back in a minute.
They're getting warm. Ah, well, then I was
Back in
going
a minute, okay?
He says,
All right, Donald.
all right, then I need a poem to read. Give me, I've got to have something. No,
Give that woman a poem.
Give that woman a poem, she says. All right, this is what happens when my next feature doesn't come up. And that just means I'm going to have to read something about people, people here probably already know. This is from the book After the Apocalypse. Dun, dun, dun. Because that was the collection book series this year. There was a poetry book, a prose book, and this handy dandy date book where you could have a week and you would have poems that would accompany it as well. So I'm going to read 2 from this. This is actually a poem from Michael Lee Johnson. Now, I have said, or infer to people from emails or whatnot that I run a literary magazine and come with the May-June issue. That will be my 20-year anniversary issue. And so I asked people initially, hey, yay, 20 freaking years! And thank you. And I said, if anybody has anything I'd like to write, if it was a poem about children, churches, and daddies, technically the name of the title of the book, or an essay or anything, and a couple people wrote things, and Michael E. Johnson, who lives in Itasca, Illinois, he said, I run this interview only from invitation only site. I would like to interview you. I don't know if you'll like it. So I just did an interview with him, which I was like, oh, that makes me all happy and gooey and such. So I did that. And so I'm going to have to read this poem from him, and it is called Moon Sleep. I stick my hand out toward the sea, roll out my palm. I offer a plank, a trail for you. Follow out into the water and the salty stars. When you stretch out and give your heart to the final moment, to the glorious night sky, draw me in. Sketch my face on the edge of the moon, sad and lonely over ages of moon, sleep, and dust. I'm going to do one more from somebody that some of you all know all too well. I'm going to do this really short one because some of you might know Joseph Hart.
I do.
No, you don't. It's just this guy that submits to me all the time. I've got all these short pieces. I'm sure I don't know where he lives, but hi, Joseph Hart. This is your poem that appears in After the Apocalypse. Dun, dun, dun. And it is called The Oak. I'm an oak that's broken from the storm. I lie upon the ground, yet still I struggle to reconstruct my trunk and spread my branches and touch my leaves again against the sky. Not for a god, but for the pleasure of it. Once I was a willow, I went mad. Thank you. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think Senor Don Hargraves came here. So give it up for Don! Come on up there with How you doing? Okay. And as I had said, and I don't know if he received this or not, I probably shouldn't say this because I don't have any room left in my issue, but if anybody has like a haiku-length poem that could appear into the anniversary issue. I am running a section after the poetry section that is called, well, John calls it Sweet Poem of Chicago, which I think I'm going to actually stick because I'm like Chicago poets, so, having just Chicago poets together, which are going to be coupled on a page because they'll be short. If anybody has a really, really stupidly short poem that they can email to me, and I say that on TV because you might not have heard that. But if anybody has that, I'll figure out, I'll have lots of stuff on there so we can have the Sweet Poem Chicago, I have a lot of stuff there too. So please give it up for Tom.
Couple of poems. I've been busy with other things, so a couple of older ones. Finally, this date has passed, so this will probably be the last time you hear this. December 21st, 2012. Let us now welcome the New Agers to the end of the world as we know it. Everyone has an apocalypse that's been put into their holy books. Christian, Hindu, Islamic, Jewish, Buddhist, even capitalists know of some end of the world urgently coming our way. Usually with a god or two coming to save the day. At that moment, people start begging to go gleefully into that dark night of forever. Everyone except the New Agers, who always figured they had time enough to evolve their spirits to where they could jump off the physical plane and join the ascended beings now telling them what to eat for dinner. So, what happened to make them wish for the end of the world? Could it be 8 years of Bush, 9/11, the environment, their inability to afford the latest props for their abundance meditations, Maybe it's realizing that when everyone creates the reality, that this is the reality that everyone creates. Or maybe it's a fear that the time left for ascending into the heavens is running out and they'll be locked out of the Brahmajyoti forever, forced to relive their sins in some lower level of hell. Or maybe it's the part of Montezuma's revenge that happens when his chosen people invade where his enemies have settled down. Only Quetzalcoatl knows. Anyway, something must have happened to the Crystal and Tarot crowd, because now we hear constantly about some old calendar that ends on some winter solstice. Some say it's the end, others say it's the beginning, but either way, nothing is supposed to be the same ever again. To which I say, welcome to the apocalypse party, my New Age friends. May I give you a suggestion about picking the end date? Always guess around the season, never peg a specific date. Just keep the end as always coming soon. You won't have to worry about picking the wrong date or having to issue corrections, as it's just the coming of the end, however far off it may be, that'll give that special spark to your thoughts and actions. Keep that in mind and you'll be fine. Okay. And now here's a poem that actually created into a book. Right now I just need to do a couple small edits here and there and I should have it out. Title of this is Suicide Alley. Greetings and welcome to Suicide Alley. Normally I wouldn't give you a second glance, but you look lost. If so, I can help. It's a dark place, as I'm sure you've noticed. Grays and blacks are the main shades here, with the occasional dark blue or indigo adding in a stray bit of color. There's other colors around if you know where to look, but they're often too depressingly bright for this place. Indeed, many find the constant gloom welcoming. Stand outside during a moment when the sun comes out and watch everyone clear out within seconds. Few of us live here. We see millions walk through every year. They mostly come in two types, tourists and visitors. Tourists come in groups, hold their heads high, their eyes gleaming with plans of escape. The visitors come alone, hide their faces, display their sorrows, and look for a corner to hide in. There are a few lost souls who find themselves here. They tend to have puzzled looks and ask halting questions. The lost souls are the honest ones, if you ask me. Back when I tried to help everyone, I found out the tourists were banking their finding their escape that would give them their happily ever after, and the visitors had convinced themselves death was the only way out of their world. Either way, they knew their lives would only get better, and I wouldn't fit the truth into their heads. Now I just try to help those who look lost, and leave the visitors and the tourists to the others. Need a place to live? My apartment's nearby. I have a room set aside for guests, and the lights are always on. I've seen the darkness kill vital, lively people. The light, I've learned, is the best antidote. Thank you.
And actually, it occurs to me that you wrote like Atlas Shrugged in haiku form for all the characters, which I'm not going to take for because I'm previously abolished that, but that just, I'm like, wait a minute, you just did Atlas Shrugged in haiku form for all the characters. Wait. Yeah. Well, if any Chicago poets are interested for CCD Magazine to have a poem included, I'll tell you an email address or get a hold of me or something. Alrighty, I think because they've got a couple people that are worth repeating, I would like to hear a poem or two from Mr. Patrick Curley. Come on up here, my love. You can tell we're like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
In the cold. We are in the cold, shivering our existence, grasping for something solid, holding the familiar. Our bones ache with time. We, wide-eyed, yearn for rest, for peace, for sleep. Close your eyes. It is coming. In a hotel room. Hotel rooms all smell the same. That sterile, sublime clean that only exists in travel. So much cleaning product, so much distance from where we are and where we're going, yet here we are, in this room, on this bed, next to this short sofa, with the lamp on and music playing because you know how I like music. And I close my eyes one last time to see you, to see us, to see two humans in life living out the slow steps of procreation, slow steps of destruction.
That's what she said.
That was not.
Yes, I did.
That's what he said.
So from Janet's favorite book, Pull Tabs and Other Things to Stick Your Fingers Through.
Woohoo!
Happiness, water in a raindrop, falling, filling my imagination with a world of memory, a universe of smiles, cast in front of unspeakable secrets, shining moon-pearl eyes, staring into adventures never known. Happiness, silver shining dewdrop, poised on the needle of a cactus in a dry desert at morning, just after the birds stop singing their welcome sunshine song, just before the air is hot, when thirst is all that's on your mind.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, it's because more and more people come up here after we just like threw around the bag when there was like half of you here. So this bag, which, you know, only has half of her life savings in it, should have more money for our feature in it, so I'm going to go and harangue people. And I'm even going to harangue the man that's going to come up and, he's like, should I come up? Should I go? Should I go?
No.
Jerry, come on. He's like, I've got something for, all right, then I won't harangue you. And then because I got this and I won't even look because you're going to get on up here. He's got one more thing. Give it up for Jerry. Come on up. Come on.
I love poetry. Yeah. And I'm very grateful to be at one of the most beautiful rooms in my house.
Yay!
Actually,
Woo!
this is a place where I live from time to time. And when I will be excluded from this place.
Did you say this? Did you say? What's the story?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you one of those poems that my brother Greg wrote. I don't want the microphone to survive longer than I do. But it's actually a BSM 5100. This is beautiful. Gregory Doyle Reynolds. Metaphysics. An angel and an animal got dressed up in their clothes. And now the angel has to go wherever the animal goes. The angel and the animal can agree on what to do. They can't decide between themselves. So they leave it up to you. The pair can live in harmony if you remember two things. Please don't tease the animals. And never touch the angel's wings.
Well, so don't worry about this one. Thank you. And thank you very much. Thank you again. And I think I want to write some sort of Twitter-like thing an angel and the animal put on their clothes, and now you can't tell them apart. That's what I was thinking, actually. That's what popped through my head as soon as you said that one. But ladies and gentlemen, I think I've got one more piece for my lovely and adorable. He just, give it up for my sidekick here. Give it up for Mr. Bob Raskow. Bouncer, come on up.
All right, Greg Reynolds. I think I did a neo-futurist show with him one time, if it's the same guy. And Don Hargraves, we all await Suicide, the publication of Suicide Alley with bated breath. First heard it in 2003. All right, I'll do one more that's by Bob Raskow, and this is some asshole isn't This is called Sunday Morning Redline Cruise. An obese blonde woman studies her book club novel. Upon release of the Addison crowd, another slightly older woman righteously moves her bag onto the vacant seat next to her, like staking a claim on a parcel of land. Further down, a different woman barks loudly on her cell phone. Hard to understand the words she yelps. Fire, fire, down, down, Erp Clark, don't. A bicycle appears and quickly rides away. To inform the public is a recording that they're having a delay. And there are beer posters reminding us that we're not invincible, as if anyone needs reminding. Yet just below, declaring that we hold the key, implying that invincibility could be pending or far off in the near future for any beer-ingesting animals with brains. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senor Bob Raskow.
You're welcome.
Babo. I think you've signed that on the thing before. Babo.
That was what I put on the bowling alley.
Babo.
I was going to put Bobster, and I thought...
I like it. Babo.
Not that anyone noticed it.
Babo. Because I haven't read anything of my own, I thought, because I got a phenomenal, awesome female feature with Virginia Hunt. Give it up one more time for Virginia Hunt! Because of that, I thought I would read this piece and end the night with it before I take like a 3-minute break before we have this phenomenal feature. So this is a poem called Burn It In. Once I was on a beach on the west coast of Florida. It was New Year's Eve and the yellow moon hung over the Gulf like a swaying lantern. And I was watching the waves crash in front of me with a friend, and the wind picked up. My friend just stared at that moon for a mile, and then closed his eyes. I asked him what he was thinking, and he said, I wanted to look at this scene and memorize it, burn it into my brain, so that I could call up when I wanted to, so that I could have it with me always. I, too, have my recorders. I burn these things into my brain. I burn these things onto pages. I pick and choose what needs to be said, what needs to be recorded. Every year, at the end of every year, I used to write in a journal to recall the things that happened to me, to log in all of the memories I wanted to keep, because that is what kept me sane. That is what kept me alive. When I was younger, I was studying to be a computer science engineer. You see, I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to beat everyone else. But burned in my brain were the taunts of the kids who were in cliques so that others could do the thinking for them. Because burned in my brain were the evenings of the high school dances that I never went to. Because burned into my brain were the people that I knew that I was better than, who thought that they were better than me. Well, yeah, I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to beat everyone else, but I hated what I was doing. I hated what I saw around me. I hated all the pain that people put each other through, and all of these memories just kept flooding me. So in my spare time, to keep me sane, To keep me alive, I wrote down the things I could not say. That was how I recorded things. When I looked around me and I saw friends raping my friends, I wrote. I burned into these nightmares with a pen, and yes, I have this recorded. I have all of this recorded. What did you think I was doing when I was stuffing handwritten notes into my pockets or typing for long hours into the night? In my spare times, I wouldn't go to the movies to watch others' stories. I would sit in the corner of a cafe scribbling into my notebook. I'd sit in the computer lab slamming my hands, my fingers into that keyboard because there were too many atrocities in the world, too many injustices that I had witnessed, too many people who had wronged me, and I had a lot of work to do. There had to be a record of what you had done. Did you think your crimes would go unpunished? Did you think that you could come back and slap me on the back with a friendly hello and think that I wouldn't remember? Well, you see, that's what I have my poems for, so there would always be a record of what you have done. I have defiled many pages in your honor, you who swung your battle axe high above your head and thought that no one would remember. Well, I made a point to remember. Yes, I have defiled many pages. And have you defiled many women? You who rapes my friends? You who rapes my sisters? You who rapes me? Is that what makes you a strong man? You want to know why I do the things I do? I had to record these things. That is what kept me together. When people were dying, that is what kept me together. And when my friends went off to war, that is what kept me together. When my friends were raped and left for dead, that is what kept me together. And when no one bothered to notice this, or change this, or care about this, these writings kept me together. I need to record these things to remind myself of where I came from. I need to record these things to remind myself that there are things to value and things to hate. I need to record these things to remind myself that there are things worth fighting for, worth dying for. I need to record these things to remind myself that I am alive. I'm giving you like a 3-minute break. Yeah, 5-minute break, and then we have a phenomenal feature from Virginia coming up.